Hello and welcome to another video. As you can see here, I'm just showing you that I got a new cover, and something different about this plan with me is that I am attempting to do a voiceover for it. Hopefully that will make the plan with me a little more straightforward and succinct, so you don't have to see me lay down lots of stickers. But I've had some trouble with voiceovers in the past, so we'll see how this goes. Right now I am just showing you the kit I am using. It is from Pansy Prints. It is their Thanksgiving kit, and as you can see there are quite a few stickers here. I will be using this over multiple weeks. I also have a sheet from some printable washi, my time trackers, and some date dots and day script stickers. Those all aren't from Pansy Prints. They're from various other shops. And yeah, I'm also showing some character stickers I might use, and then I plan to track my weather this week, so that's something different that I will be doing. And we're just going to get into it. So I think that this may be where I choose to start the fast forward. The first thing I'm going to do, I think, is use these glitter headers in order to make date covers, because I wasn't really feeling the date covers that the kit came with. So yeah, we're going to do that, and I think I'm going to start the fast forward here. Okay, so I did go ahead and increase the speed by 3 times, and I hope that it is going to work out. So what I'm doing now is I'm using 2 glitter headers and stacking them to make a background for my date cover. I decided to do this because the date covers, the glitter headers came with the kit, and I thought that they would match the kit. And I also don't use glitter headers anywhere else. I am using an Erin Condren horizontal, so that means that there isn't a really good place to put a header like there is in the Erin Condren vertical. And even when I do use headers, they're usually pretty functional. The only header I tend to use in my horizontal is a to-do header. And so here I was excited to get the chance to use the glitter headers, because I think the glitter, like digital glitter on a sticker, is really pretty, but I don't have a good place for a header like I would in a vertical, and so I was excited to be able to use these here. And so I'm just alternating the colors a bit. I start with the orange, then there's kind of a pinkish magenta color, and then brown and pink. Yeah, so after I stack them, I am using a date dot from Planning with Kay. She has these number circles that I think are really cute, and I'm layering one of those with the day scripts I got from, I don't remember where I got the date scripts from. Again, as I mentioned in my previous video, those are the same ones, and I had to take away the branding in order to get the register lines to show up. So I can't remember where those are from, but I really like the date dots. As I said, they're from Planning with Kay, who's usually a bullet journal shop. And I followed her a lot. Well, I still follow her a lot. She does some good stuff, but I started following her and started buying things from her shop because she has a bullet journal shop, and I was doing bullet journaling. However, as you can see, I'm not really doing the typical bullet journal style anymore, and so I've been trying to find fun ways to still use some of her stickers because I do really like them. And so here I realized that her date dots were a really fun way to add her stickers into my Erin Condren spreads, especially because her date numbers are much bigger than typical date dots. Date dots are really small for the most part, and the ones I have are from, I have the 2 different types of date dots. I have date dots from Scribble Prints Co. and Simply Watercolor Co. Both of them are foiled and they're very small, and I thought that they would get lost in the glitter, and so I didn't want to use those date dots. But I wanted some other kind of, I needed a number here, and I needed it to be a sticker because any of my writing wouldn't be able to be seen over the glitter. And so these date dots from Planning with Kay I thought were a really good way to do that. And so I've pretty much wrapped up what I'm going to do with the date covers. This is what they looked like. I tried to spread out the colors kind of evenly so that no two were right next to each other. And I forgot to mention before I even started that I have those lines of glitter, those long strips that sometimes come in a horizontal kit, and I'm not using a horizontal kit, but I tried them out last week and I really liked how it kind of tied the whole spread together, those little strips of glitter. And so I decided to make myself some more strips of glitter so that I could use to coordinate with the different kits I plan to use. And so that's what we're seeing there. Now I'm just laying down this Happy Thanksgiving script on the day that it will be Thanksgiving. That is the week I am planning here. And I'm using that script because honestly I don't know what I'm going to do on Thanksgiving, but it probably won't be very much, just because it's a holiday and so I don't plan to do a lot of work. I'll probably be hanging out with my boyfriend and his family because I am at their house for Thanksgiving. I do go to college in the Northeast, but I am originally from the South. My family is in Texas, and because I don't get the full week off from class, it is never really worth it for me to go down to Texas for Thanksgiving, so I always find somewhere to be up in the Northeast, and my boyfriend's family is in the Northeast, so it is much easier for them to come to drive, his dad to drive to pick us up, than it is for me to buy a plane ticket down to Dallas. And so yeah, so I'm just going to be up here for Thanksgiving, and you're seeing me lay down the full boxes. I really had some trouble with this double box, and I wasn't sure if it was something that I wanted to put. I liked how it looked, but later I have a lot of trouble with it because it takes up 2 sections. I have my horizontal basically divided into 4 sections because it can fit the width of about 4 Erin Condren sized boxes, and so I tend to divide it into fourths to kind of structure each day, and that double box took up 2 sections of a day, whereas I usually put double boxes in the note section where I have more freedom to kind of play around with decorative space. And so later I really struggle with the double box. But right now I'm just kind of going back to my days, and I have a quarter box and a cup of coffee to mark a meeting that I have on Monday. And I'm starting to also put weather down for these next 3 days. That's because I filmed this on a Saturday, so that weather was like 4 or 5 days out, so it was already pretty like uncertain, and so I didn't go beyond that because forecasts change pretty regularly. I also realized that I forgot to put the weather appropriately because I marked the weather for those 3 days down for where I usually live, but I'm actually going to be at my boyfriend's house for those 3 days, so the weather is already off, and I'm glad I didn't try to do the whole week in the wrong city because that's not where I'm going to be. And I am marking or covering the flags with these cute little flags like the kit came with. They are a smidge off, like they barely fit, and so it was really hard for me to get them on there straight. So I ended up doing for the second flag is white out the flag just so I don't have to worry at all about any of the blue showing through. And I thought these flags were really cute. I love the little bit of deco inside that kind of that kind of matches the kit. And so to the left we have the little pie that I really thought was really cute, and then on the other side I think it's a pumpkin. I actually have my planner here while I'm doing this voiceover, so I'm just gonna check that it is indeed a pumpkin. Oh, it's not a pumpkin. It's a mug. It's a little mug that says give thanks, and there's some kind of liquid in it, coffee, hot chocolate, I don't know, but it has like whipped cream in it, so it's probably not tea. And so now I'm going to trim these checklists so that I can put them in the horizontal. I actually found that these checklists, when I trimmed off the 7th little bar, fit pretty perfectly in my horizontal when you have the glitter strip plus this box, and so I really enjoyed that because most of the time the vertical kits hang off in weird ways on my horizontal, and I could buy a horizontal kit, but there aren't very many printable horizontal kits, and there are fewer of them that I think are cute or really like. A lot of the horizontal kits I find on like Etsy that are printable have a lot of patterned full boxes, and I don't really like full boxes that just have a pattern in them. I do really like for them to have some kind of deco, a scene, a fashion girl, something like that in them. And I find that a lot of the kits I find on Etsy don't have that, and so I just avoid them. Um, yeah, and so that means that I'm left adapting these vertical kits, and this one was easier to adapt than most, I think, because those full boxes actually trimmed down really well. I didn't bother trimming the vertical boxes, so, or the full boxes, but um, because the full ombre heart checklist fit so well, I kind of wish that I had gone and just trimmed the full boxes so that everything fit pretty much perfectly. I did have to trim the full heart checklists because I didn't want to take off a heart because they had some cute stitching around the outside, and the flag, extra flag space is kind of a waste of space. It takes up almost what would be a whole space in the horizontal, and I just didn't want all that empty space. So rather than trim the top heart, I just trimmed the flag at the very bottom. And now that I have some of that laid down, I do go back and put down my time tracker box things, and I don't know why I didn't do that earlier. I usually put down full boxes and then time tracker, um, and those are like the first two things I put down after maybe the date covers. Yeah, I don't know. I think I wanted to see if I could put them in more varied places, because for the most part the default for my time tracker is the far left box, and I wanted to see if I could mix that up, and then I must have forgotten because I didn't do it. So I only put the time tracker not in the left box when there's something there, usually a full box, and I don't put the full box way over there most of the time. So my time tracker is still off to the far left. And now I'm just putting down a few random things to kind of fill some space. And I find myself struggling to kind of make this look like a full spread right now because I am pre-planning, so I'm trying to plan the week before it happens, but at the same time, this isn't a typical week because I do have most of it off from school and class, which means that I don't have the regular like due dates and homework that I have to get done and meetings and class times that I would typically fill in and like make my spread look full and busy. And so I'm putting in random things in places to fill in later with whatever happens that day. That full box I just put down, or the half box, is actually to mark driving back from my boyfriend's house on Sunday so that I can be back in time for school on Monday. And then over on Monday, I also have another half box that I think I put there just to say that that was my last day of class, because that was kind of exciting with the break about to start. Our break usually doesn't start until Wednesday, but I don't have classes on Tuesday, so I didn't have any class, and I absolutely at all costs avoided adding any kind of meetings or planetarium shows or scheduling anything extra on Tuesday because I was done. I wanted to be able to leave on Tuesday as soon as possible. So there's that. And basically the way I'm treating the space under the date cover is that there's space there for 2 quarter boxes, and I already decided to dedicate half of that space to my weather tracking. And so for the right page, I'm just putting another quarter box there, and for this Saturday and Sunday, I don't really know what I'm going to put there right now. I don't know what's going to happen on those days very well, but I just leave them there because I'm going to write something in eventually. And here you see me thinking about redoing that double box, but because I realized that I wouldn't have space for my time tracker, but it kind of messed up the paper a little, and I didn't want there to be any like funky paper, and so I might have been able to handle it if I was just replacing one box and putting another box there, but because this is a double box, there would inevitably be a chunk of paper that like looked weird, so I just didn't do that. And here I'm using a bit of the washi that came with the kit kind of as a quarter box because I was starting to run out of those, but I really wanted to keep half of that space under the date cover kind of decorative, followed by the space that I use for my weather tracking. Yeah, over on Thursday for Thanksgiving, that last chunk of space is actually where I'm going to put my weather later, because I didn't leave the space under the date cover because that's where I put the Happy Thanksgiving script. And here I'm trying to decide what to do with my washi. I end up putting a full strip at the bottom on the note section, and you can't see it because it came out of the frame. And then I'm putting the rest on the top, and I was going to do half bow washi, half washi that came with the kit, but for this week I ultimately decided to just use the bow washi because I thought if I used any of the kit washi it would look too busy. And I did put 2 washis at one point. When I did the Remember Me kit with Scribble Prints Co., I put 2 washis on the top and kind of just covered that whole top section and put the month like as a sticker on top of all the washi again, but it didn't really like how that looked and made the planner feel too busy. I am definitely a white space planner. If anything, I think that my spreads are as decorated as they are, only because I don't want to waste stickers. So I try to put as many as I can, but also at the end of the day, I don't like my spread to look too cluttered. Especially with these colors, I found that they were very, very bold. And I go back and forth between how I feel about this spread and this kit in particular because the colors are so bold. And a funny pattern I've noticed with my spreads is that I tend to go between really bold kits and really neutral kits, which I think is kind of strange. The first week I ever did in this planner was really neutral, black and white. And then I followed that with 2 weeks of the Remember Me kit by SPC, which is really, really bold and bright and orange, a lot like this kit. And then after that, I did a week, I think, of really neutral things. I've missed a week in the back, but anyway, a week of really neutral colors for the Fantastic Beasts Crimes of Grindelwald release last week. And again, now I'm following that up with 2 weeks of really bold colors for Thanksgiving. And so that's a really interesting pattern I've noticed. I hope it doesn't like keep up. I hope to find some more middle ground kind of colors here soon with my Christmas and New Year's kits that I plan to use. But yeah, so sometimes after I finish this kit, this spread, I kind of really hated it. I thought it was way too bright, and even the colors clashed a little. But then I looked back at it again later, and I was like, actually, I kind of like it. And now I'm recording this voiceover, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm feeling about it. But when I look at it in person, I do like it, and so I think it came together okay. It's just very different. And so now I'm filling out what would be a sidebar in a vertical, but is the note section in the horizontal. And I struggled with what to do here because I usually put my 6 weekly habits that are like things that I want to do at least once during that week, plus notes for any random things that need to get done that week. However, most of my weekly habits are location oriented. It really depends on where I'm at, because for the most part they're things that I can only do at home. So like clean something in the apartment. Well, I'm not at the apartment this week. Have lunch with a friend. School's out, so all of my friends are at college, and there isn't anyone I know other than my boyfriend's family over near his house. So that's not a thing I can do. I water the plants. I'm going to do that before, and really just need to remember to do it as soon as I get back. So just my weekly habits didn't work out, so I put a lot of space to write all the different homeworks that I want to try to work on over the break, because I really want to use this time to catch up, because we are in the last stretch and I only have 2 weeks of class when I get back, and I really wanted to just catch up on a lot of things that I feel like I'm behind on or haven't worked on as much as I would like, and that's what I really want to use this time off to do. And so I went back and I lettered last day in that half box that I mentioned earlier on Monday, and I'm just kind of filling in some stuff now. So I filled in my meeting. On Monday I was questioning whether there would be bus service, because one of the they're like 2 sectors that run the local buses, and one of them is threatening to strike. And I don't know any of the politics behind it or what they're fighting for, but when they strike, is a potential for the bus to be out of service or altered, and that is important to know because it's the only way I can get to class. And so if the buses are for some reason going to stop running because of this strike, then I have to know that I need to find somewhere to stay on campus, otherwise I can't go to class. And we do still have 2 weeks, so I need to be able to get onto campus. And so yeah, it's always really annoying when they do that. Right now I'm just writing in my homework and goals for this week, but they threatened to strike at the end of the summer, and that didn't happen. They reached some kind of agreement with like a mediator or something, and that didn't happen. But now they're like, oh, we're gonna strike again, and I don't know what has happened in the time in between, but it's a thing. And they actually moved it again, so the strike was threatened to start on Monday, but then they moved it to, they're going to have a meeting on the 26th of November, and the meeting there will decide whether they're going to go on strike. So I'm just kind of waiting, and I really hate when this happens because it's like, on the one hand, I'm sure they're probably fighting for something important, but on the other hand, it really, really disrupts the bus schedule and makes things really uncertain, and I hate not knowing what's going to happen. So we'll see what goes on with that. But I was just quickly showing the stickers I have left, and I'm filling in a bit of extra spaces with some of the deco here. And we are wrapping this up. This was a much shorter plan with me than usual, and I think that I really like this voiceover way of doing things, because it lets me just be pretty straightforward, and you're not sitting there forever watching me lay down stickers. And I haven't run out of things to say already, which usually happens when I'm doing a real-time plan with me. And I was surprised by the voiceover quality. I had a lot of trouble the first time I ever tried to do a voiceover getting it to sync with the video, but I think it's coming out pretty good. So let me know what you think about that. And I'm going to be doing another voiceover for next week, just because I actually filmed these 2 weeks at the same time because I would be out of town. Yeah, so they'll both be the same, and then after that I'll decide whether I want to stay with this voiceover form. It does take more time. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.